In your 3D printing journey, sometimes it doesn't always work out. You can still take some of these guys out of that pile, do some unique kit bashing techniques, not using green stuff, using some painting techniques, oil paints, pigments, and come up with a fantastic gang idea based upon the kit bash. I really had a lot of fun here, but enough talk. Let's get going. Funny thing how models work and your pile of opportunity. Jay had a new campaign coming up, and I didn't want to play one of the gangs. I wanted to play something new. So I had to rummage through the bits box, and I found this plastic bag that my buddy gave to me called Failed 3D Prints. And I think they were failed because this resin that he printed it in was real brittle. I loved it. So, an Ogryn gang. Played Ogryns plenty of times, never actually as the gang, because I thought they were just a little bit too powerful. And here we go with the brittle resin. Snap! And she flies across the room. One of the reasons these were considered failed prints. This resin is very brittled. I actually couldn't even carve on it. So, everything that came off was with this big snap. Now we're going to go into a little bit of finding some bits that work, some arms, some hands, a few weapons here and there that go on, some of them that just didn't look or didn't go very well. So I went to the orcs. This is from the Speed Freaks kit, orc knobs. So, we're just going to cut a few things off the sprue there, and you're going to watch that boring footage as I do a little self-promotion. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this gang. So, as I said, Ogryns they're pretty powerful. Their stat lines just at the beginning are ahead of just about everybody else. And there we go. There's a bit. That's Mad Doc Grotznick's metal power claw that I found in a box. Yeah, now I'm gluing metal bits onto brittle resin. Yeah, I know, crazy, huh? So, anyways, one of the things that I wanted to do, or one of the things you can do in Necromunda, especially when you get, this gang that you really want to play, but you know darn well that they're just going to walk all over everybody, is swing to the narrative. So, the narrative for these guys, these are the luchadors. And basically, they're led by Ted Baxter, free Ogryn at large, not slave Ogryn, mainly because they're free right now. He managed to, when he escaped from the fighting pits that he was in, went through the announcer's booth. And on his way through there, he just grabbed a whole bunch of junk off the table. And it turned out to be a whole bunch of Lobo chips. Now, Lobo chips are a funny thing. They have some function in the gang, but for the most part, I think there's a Goliath gene smithing trait where you can get a bad Lobo chip. But I wanted to play this, a little bit closer to the belt and throw it into the storyline. So each one of the guys that I'll be introducing later got 2 Lobo chips slammed into the back of his head. They're both corrupted to their basic programming. And basically what ends up happening is that whenever I want to activate one of these guys, you roll a insanity check. If you pass that, then you decide what you're going to do. And when you've decided what you're going to do, there's another insanity check. And then, after that, if both of those checks are made, then they can do whatever they want. Now, if you know the insane table, this leaves me wide open to the other players playing my guys, or them just running off the board. In which case, both have happened so far since I played these guys. And we've only played one game. It was a blast. But it's one of the best things about playing Necromunda, and, you know, just your versatility of it. There's a new edition coming, everybody. I'm not afraid of it, mainly because whatever rules I didn't like in this current one, that's been going for 9 years, by the way, we just ignored anyways and forgot about. So, you know, what the heck. These orc parts worked really well on this guy. Okay, so, as you probably noticed as you were watching all of that, if I were going to green stuff these guys, that would be like 2 years worth of work. So instead, I'm going to use another technique, which I usually use tablecloth when I do this. But a buddy of mine kind of said, hey, why don't you try these wet naps? So basically what's going to end up happening is I'm dipping these in PVA glue, watered down a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is lay it over the spots that have the biggest issues. Mainly the arm joints and leg joints. There are a few other things that were kind of generally the back end of these guys was pretty much melted out. So what's going to end up happening is I'm just going to use the back of that paintbrush right there on it while it's still wet. And was this the first one? Yeah, I think this was the first one. So I'm just shaping it. And of course, this is to taste. Now, I was a little bit disappointed on this first shot. So I kind of wanted the hooded effect a little bit more. So I did add on hoods later. And yeah, look at that. I'm pretty pleased with myself, to be honest. This stuff hardened up great. So got home one night and raining like hell. I only got a couple of days left to take care of these guys because this was Tuesday. This was Tuesday night, actually. And we had to play on Thursday night. So I did some black priming and then did a bit of white with the sketching. Of course, I was rushing and the black wasn't completely dry, especially in the crevices and stuff. So basically what I ended up doing was a white to gray wet blend. Accidentally, actually. Really nice big brush here. Yeah, everybody's got their preference on stuff. Would it have been cooler to do the spray? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. This little change that I had, kind of an interesting side effect, was kind of changed my entire view of the painting process on this. Of course, when that happens, you got to kind of, you know, I want the tops of the models to have the brightest contrast to them. So went over with a sponge here, put a little bit more textures in. Now we're on to the metallics. In the past, I've just sprayed models, especially this size, just in metallics. Again, raining, wanted to get stuff done. Airbrush sounded like a neat idea, and then I pulled it out and just didn't feel like using it. And I figured, you know what? An old school look with a brush, you know, is nice. So this is a creamy yellow that I kind of mixed up from several various old paints and some acrylic medium. Wanted this because I really wanted the translucency of it, but I still wanted a paint coating. Then we're going to do, because a lot of these guys had enforcer looks, I wanted them to look like ex-enforcers. This is a mix of a contrast paint and an ink, along with the cloaks. That white to black sketch dry brush that I did, wet blend, dry brush, whatever, accident that I did, kind of shaped the way I wanted this to look at the end. I was going to go with bright, you know, cloaks and everything right away, but then I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I was like, the other way to look at this is, you know, they've been running around in the sump, in the underhive, so they're going to not look very clean. You know, I mean, slave Ogryns are an outlaw gang, so they're, you know, and there's actual huge bonuses for capturing them, credit bonuses and things for the gangs. And here it comes, the big questions. Oil paints next. Here I'm going to be dabbing on a thicker mixed brown. I think it was Van Dyke brown I used. And then I'm going to go on the low spots with a lamp black. Both coat very well. The oil painting question. I have answered it personally myself with just the way that these things work. So some of the problems. Questions that come with this. What are the main things this paint is doing? And why should I consider adding this to my toolbox? Second one I get is what happens if things go wrong with the oil paint? And 3, how long do these need to dry? So what is the oil paint doing? The oil paint is it's because of its extended dry time, it allows you to work things more. Now, oils don't work like acrylics where you would layer up. As you can see right here, I'm using this sponge. After I applied it, I am using this sponge to wipe off and mix on the model itself the subtleties. Now, if you were to do this layering with acrylics, it takes a while and it takes a lot of technique. This doesn't really take any technique whatsoever. You can get to where you want it to go in a much faster step. I know this is sped up footage, but this was not a long time here to take care of this. You can basically everything you can do with acrylics you can do with oils. The price of the oil paints, that's the biggest thing. Oils are cheaper and more controllable answer to acrylic washes. If you have a problem with it, you can just wipe off, what you've done, and while it takes a few days for it to dry, you can switch that up with the amount of mineral spirits that you use on it. This is several passes in this video here. What are the extra tools that I can use to manipulate the oil paint? Can I use acrylics over oil paint coats? And does the oil paint need extra protection after it dries? So the tools that I like to use, you're going to see some of them in here, but when I'm doing terrain pieces and stuff, old t-shirts. Old t-shirts work great. Q-tips, old paint brushes, sponges, which you saw happen. You can either do this dry or you can do this, and add mineral spirits to it. I'm going to be using several techniques in this, and I know this is all sped up footage and everything, but you should be able to start seeing exactly how fast you can really get, what you want. Yeah, you can use sponges, Q-tips, old brushes, t-shirts. As long as the oil paint is dry before you put any other coats over it, you can coat over it with acrylics just fine. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do that later. And oil paints are fine all by themselves unless you somehow got a shiny spot and you wanted to make it, not shiny, or the reverse. Then you can, just wait till it's dry and then you just go over it like you would with acrylics. In this one, I'm using an old brush with just a very minute bit of mineral spirits, paint thinner, white spirits, whatever it is that you guys, call it in your country. And if you went with acrylics right here, I'd be doing the big time highlighting and all that other stuff, and layering and layering and layering and layering, and figuring out how those things don't look chalky. What I'm doing right here actually takes almost no talent whatsoever. And yeah, I'm going to let her sit for a day. The other thing that I'm doing right here with this brush and a Q-tip again, and I think I'm using a sponge too, is I'm simply taking away some of the highlight points, the darker paint. Now here it is, a day later. I'm going right over it with acrylics again, doing the face job like everybody seems to like. And then over here we're using pigments. So yeah, I just mixed the pigment powder in with some water and brushed it over the rust spots.
spooky shots here. Getting some of these guys on the board. Yeah, I know, it's all their backs. I'm going to show you how they look a little bit here and make the introductions in a second. All right, there he is. Ted Baxter, free Ogryn at large. I'm going to do just a little sump shot here for you. You know, oh, and here he is. Insta, the underboss. All the names I pulled off social media handles. If you guys want to learn more about oil paints, I please recommend you ask questions for me. This is Face. He's just a regular Ogryn ganger. I had so much fun making these guys. It just took a couple of days to, at this point where I took this video. Yep, there's Reddit. He's a Lobo slave. Yeah, they're all dry, ready to go. Don't smell like oil paint anymore or any of that other stuff. Need to work. I have a new camcorder, actually an old camcorder. There's TikTok. He's a Lobo slave ganger. I gotta kind of work on the light a little bit as far as the the way the footage is. It's a little grayed out. This is YouTube, the Lobo slave, and yeah, there's the whole gang here. I love the way this camera works, but yep. There they are, the luchadors. As always, you guys, please like and subscribe.